All right, start us off there.
Uh, Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Kinarapi. This is another edition of part two of Iran war. We already did part one. Those who follow this channel, we did part one 2, 3 days ago, and this is part two, Iran war, where we are today and where we are headed.
Yep.
And we are doing this as usual with my son, Bill. And perhaps let's start, Bill, with this war. Where are we right now in this war, in your own opinion?
Right now, I think we're at a point where things are going to accelerate, right? Because um, a new event that just happened that I just found out about is Israel has cut off the internet, essentially. So people will probably not be seeing what is happening in that region as things escalate. Obviously, we have a lot of missiles being fired on many sides in Tel Aviv. And I have a friend now actually in Qatar. He's seeing stuff in the sky. They're very scared every day. He's never lived in a zone like this, and he was a former uh, army man. And so he was stationed in Iraq. He's an older guy a little bit. And he's seeing that Qatar, which was previously a very safe space, is under attack, under fire. We have obviously the likes of Iran, and many people in the Middle East are concerned. And so we may be at a point where bigger powers may have to make bigger decisions about what's going on, considering um, the all out warfare that could perspire.
Very good. You summed it up very well, and you have brought out a point that I was not even aware that Israel has shut down the internet in Israel. And why do you think that a powerhouse like Israel
Yeah.
would shut down internet?
You know, I think part of it has to do with there's not a lot of people who support what's going on with the Palestinians. And even if they support, a separation between the Israelis and the Palestinians, they probably do not support a violent solution, right? And so it's really hard to imagine, you know, um, I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have died, you know, children, women, as much as men. And so, some people, they say it's an ethnic cleansing. You cannot do that while people are filming, even in the poorest of places. If you have access to internet via satellite or local internet, whatever you got, Wi-Fi, you can spread all of that everywhere. And that is not the type of situation that you want to go through when you want to claim being the hero in the situation. Everyone who wants to write the story, his story, wants to be the hero. And I don't think Israel is going to be able to be the hero if this is widely broadcasted. So I think that's why they made that move. They're trying to detain information.
Very good. Trying to detain information. You hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
Um, if you are doing the right thing, don't turn off the internet.
Yeah.
Because once you turn off the internet, just because you have the power to do so, it means there is something you are hiding from the public.
Right.
You are not transparent, you're not open to scrutiny. And as observers, political pundits, journalists, we need to be able to look into this issue and see why Israel is doing what it is doing.
Yeah.
Very well. Now, going forward, Where do you think we are right now on the war? Israeli and United States struck Iran. This is second week, perhaps, of the war.
Yeah.
Where do you think we are in terms of either way forward or any development being seen, or who is losing, who is winning? Where are we in this war right now?
Right now, I think we have many losers. I don't know if there's a clear winner in this situation. Iran has a chance for a regime change, but as we talked about in the last episode, um, his son, Khamenei's son,
Yeah,
he may now be
Mujtaba. He was actually confirmed today as the supreme leader
right.
of Iran.
So that's the latest news.
Mm.
As far as that goes, we're not sure what that means for how they're going to operate in terms of retaliation for what they've already received, right? Coming from U.S. Israeli forces. So this could be, a very bloody situation. We also don't really know what is the tactical strategy that the U.S. military is going to take, right? Because Trump stepped in and made that call. Trump now has to reconfigure. Well, are we going to allow them to do what they're doing? Because they're clearly going to do something. This is not something that they're going to stay quiet about.
Sure.
And so, how do you usher in a new regime, without complicating what already exists on the ground?
There you go.
Is this really about the people, or who is this really about?
There you go.
I don't know. I think that's where we are.
Yes, and just to add on into what you have just asserted is that we saw the president of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, is his name.
Son.
President of Iran.
Oh, the president, yeah.
The president of Iran. His name is Masoud Pezeshkian.
Yeah.
He came out a few days ago, like 4 days ago, and he did indicate that he's sorry that Iran has attacked the Middle Eastern countries, namely Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Qatar, and all those whatever. He apologized for having been attacked, and he said that is not going to be repeated. He said that was not the intention of Iran. It was a mistake, and he's sorry. Then the next day after he said that, we saw the same thing being repeated, the opposite of what he had said.
Yeah.
They struck Middle Eastern countries, including one of the tallest buildings in the Middle Eastern countries. I forget which country it is from.
Yeah.
That tells you that, and also before I come to the conclusion, is that I read somewhere that they were saying that the Iranian people had decentralized their power and gave commanders on the ground power to decide where to attack without necessarily
coming from the president,
coming from the top, because they foresaw perhaps they had intelligence that they were going to kill their leader.
Yeah.
So they knew for some time they were going to be leaderless.
Yeah.
So they decided, if we are leaderless for some time, we don't want to be scrambling to make decisions.
Right.
Give the commanders on the ground, each heading each force, power to decide where to strike.
So maybe that is what we're seeing.
That is what we are seeing.
Right.
Because,
you put the clues together.
I tie that with what the president, Masoud Pezeshkian, said 4 days ago. And immediately after he said that, the following day, they attacked several Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah.
Meaning that, and then now Masoud came out today saying he was misunderstood, he was misinterpreted.
Yeah.
That is not what he meant. He said, what I meant is anybody who is supporting Americans or anybody hosting Americans, we are going to attack them indiscriminately. He said that today.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I was watching that when you and Mom went to the gym. Yeah, I was watching that. Said that statement was not meant to apologize to anybody that we have attacked. We will attack anybody hosting Americans indiscriminately.
So who's in control? It's like they've done a 180 with this
This
guy.
is what I'm telling you. So
Yeah.
we are in for a long, long haul in this war. Now, coming to the Americans, where we are in the United States,
Yeah.
you are not getting a clear strategy on how this war is being fought. Week one is ended.
Yeah.
With two superpowers, Israel and the United States, attacking Iran.
Yeah.
But there's no clear end in sight or any exit strategy that has been proposed to date. Now, there has been suggestions, perhaps from the United States through the CIA, to arm the Kurds in the north. But the Kurds are too weak to fight Iran. Iran is a big country with a big culture. Iran has 92 million people.
Wow, yeah.
This is a hardened country in fighting. They were at war with Iraq for 8 years, fighting. These are seasoned fighters. They are used to wars.
Yeah.
They are not scared of war. Number two, they are well funded. They have oil. They can fund their own programs without necessarily, even if you put a blockade on them, they can still sell their fuel clandestinely. They don't have to pass it through the market. They can still strike a deal with whoever will supply you with it.
Because it's a need.
Yeah, fuel for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
At this rate. The US has no control of that.
No.
Israel has no control of that.
Yeah.
Now, to make it even matters worse, they have closed the Strait of Hormuz that we were talking last time.
Yeah.
Nobody's passing through there. Anybody who passes through there, their ship will be sunk. Think about the economic
effects,
strangle
it's going
that they have put in the world. Talk about that.
Well, if you go look at the gas prices right now, take a picture, because it's not going to be the same gas prices in 9 months. And if the price of gas goes up, because like my dad said, is the strangle of that strait will constrict the movement, primarily by ships, that's going to supply gas to much of Asia and Europe and elsewhere that needs it. And with that, you're going to get an energy compression that's not only affecting the goods that were needed to transport that oil, the goods that were needed to make that oil, but also for the economy here. So if we have a shortage or a supply constraint to oil, just know that everything else will rise. We've seen a deflation of the price of certain groceries, at least in the past, I'd say 18 months, right? And so, we saw the price of eggs going from maybe 18 pack for almost $20 at the peak to now maybe $2 or $3, right? Get ready for that to go back up again. I don't know if it's going to peak at 18, 20 again, but prepare yourself to know your perishable, non-perishable food stock up, because there's a good chance that they'll be affected by what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz.
Thank you very much, Bill. And also, another issue that I wanted to raise is, I think that the issue of regime change is become complicated for the United States. It is not going to be easy for these people to wake up today and rise up against a regime that probably they've known for the rest of their life. Yeah. Most people who are born maybe your age, they only know Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Yeah.
They don't know anybody else. They don't know any other regime. They don't know, it's very hard for this generation to rise up and say, no, we don't want Khamenei, because that is all they've known.
Yeah.
They can't compare that guy with somebody else because
Yeah.
they don't know that somebody else. They've never had that somebody else.
There might be a fear.
There might be a fear.
Yeah.
Remember, Khamenei has been in power for the last 37 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a lifetime of a grown man.
Yeah.
With children going to school and a wife.
Yeah.
So it's the issue of regime change is a little bit far-fetched. It's probably impossible to execute right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the firepower. Doesn't matter anything. Because, you know why I'm saying that? Because I expected if maybe the people in Iran were so much fed up with their regime like that,
yeah,
they could have rose up the first day Americans fired in Iran in support of Americans and in support of regime change. But have you seen anybody demonstrating in Iran in favor of regime change?
I haven't.
So now this is where we are, and perhaps it's a fact here to say that United States and Israel finds themselves in an awkward position for the first time because they went in there, they don't understand the enemy that they're dealing with, and regime change is not something you orchestrate overnight. It's something you have to scheme, you have to cause it to happen. You have to have some forces on the ground causing torment in there, and they're disrupting things, causing demonstrations and stuff like that to make people aware of what is going on. But a person who has not known any other leader since they were born, only know Khamenei since they were born, how are you going to tell those people tomorrow change your leader?
You can't.
They can't. So this is what I'm saying. For the first time, sorry to say this, but it is a fact, and it is increasingly appearing as a fact, that regime change is far-fetched. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
You inflict all the damage that you want, and if you look at Iran very well, they've dug in. They are in this for a long haul. They are saying, hey, look, we're gonna fight this, but we are not gonna surrender. We'll go down to the last man.
Yeah.
I think that is the thinking. What do you think?
I think it'd be best to service the people. But when you're in a regime like that, do they listen to the people? Has there been 37 years of people being listened to, right? Or has it been one man, the Ayatollah? Has it just been him making the calls with his wisdom, guided by his God and his judgment, right? Now, if it was up to the people, I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine because I've lived in a democratic world for much of my learned life.
There you go.
Right? And I don't know if it's in the service of the U.S. to bring democracy to the Middle East in every single country, including Iran. Is that what the people need right now? I don't know. Ushering that in requires a whole bunch of restructuring, right? And most likely a whole bunch of fighting, because many will not stand for that. And a controlled democracy would probably influence many things outside of, the pure political state. It would influence religion. It would influence education, right? Which is segregated in Iran. It's not the same as in here. You start influencing all these different factors that weren't in place before, and all of a sudden you don't have Iran anymore. You have, Middle America.
I tend to take the view that I understand what the United States is trying to achieve in Iran.
Yeah.
Iran has threatened Israel. Iran has threatened to wipe the face of Israel in the world map. but perhaps it is difficult sometimes to fight an enemy that you do not know.
Uh,
Take your time to understand your enemy. We went to Iraq. We fought the first Operation Desert Storm in the 90s, 91, 92. Then we went in again to topple Saddam. But did that resolve the problem that Iraqis were having? No, it didn't.
if anything, maybe it was worse.
And if anything, we ended up losing too many, too many human lives, too much money that we spent in there for a war that brought nothing,
No return. Yeah.
no returns. In my view, this war is ill-timed. I understand the United States was concerned about
Israel.
Iran attacking Israel. Perhaps, going by that theory that they want to eliminate Israel in the face of the world map. But I think that this was a wrong time to go for them, because I think also Iran was maybe more prepared for this war than the United States and Israel thought, because they've held on. This is the second week. Two economic firepowers, namely Israel and the United States, being held by Iran for 7 days without an end in sight.
Yeah.
What do you read that as?
It sounds like
You
they,
know?
they have, every country in this play has their own defensive advantage and also offensive advantage, right? And Iran is not in a terrible position, but they are playing a very dangerous game, right? They have their own weaknesses. One of them, obviously, we talked about the last episode, is what are they going to do about water? They have to import their water. They can't salinate all of their water, right? So if soldiers got to protect, if people have to eat, you're going to need water, right? What happens when more economic turns take a chance on them as a effect of oil not being mobilized? You create all of the factors that could create famine, starvation, right, disease, and then on top of that, you're going toe to toe, not fully knowing who has your back. Just because you feel as though it's your right to defend yourself and it's your right to stand up and really even service revenge for what happened, doesn't mean that Big Bully is not around the corner. You need your allies too. Who are your allies? Who are your allies, and who's going to step forward? I think that's going to accelerate in the next few months. Right, we're going to see who's stepping up with Iran, because Iran is not going to do this by themselves.
True, Iran is not going to do this war by themselves. But you know what? I think even Iran's allies are just afraid of coming forward because they don't want to be attacked by a combined force of United States and Israel.
Yeah.
If I was Iran's ally, I wouldn't come forward too, because I don't want to be attacked.
But it will be remembered.
But it will go into history.
Yeah.
But they say that there's a small segment I read today. I think it was from the Al Jazeera news, talking about Russians.
What did they say?
Helping Iranians with showing them, like the U.S. investments in the Middle East and stuff like that, like targets.
Yeah.
Perhaps to target. I don't know how credible that report is, but it was out there today. I saw it on on Al Jazeera, and it was also on BBC news this afternoon. So we will see how this war continues to unfold. It's unfortunate that we are having a war of this magnitude at this time, but perhaps time is the best to tell where we head with this war. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, as terrible as it sounds, the more time you spend in war, the more money you spend in war. And I think there's some countries here who need to spend some money because if they don't, they will be in trouble, right? And that comes at the cost of many different things, lives, as well as included in, the future for those who have to pay for this war because no war is free. They're paid in blood, and the blood has interest, right? And that interest is not low. It's a compounding monster that will consume what future spending looks like, you know, for 8, 12 years after the initiation of the war, which may have started this past week. So, yeah, we're keeping our finger on the pulse. We're watching all the outlets and we're learning. And we're even open for you guys to comment where you think we're at in the war, right? What do you think is happening next? So please share all your insights with us,
Comment section.
in the comment section, and we'll do our best to engage. What do you think, Dan?
Yes, I agree with you. Viewers, comment on the comment sections. Tell us what this war is headed. Your opinion, honest opinion. Doesn't matter which side of the aisle. We are not on one side or the other. We are analysts. We analyze it the way we see it. I like it. You don't like it. We analysts. That's what we do. So let us know what you think about this war. Let us know what we didn't mention in this war, what we failed to note, and what can be done way forward. What are your recommendations? What do you think? What is, tell us what you think in this war. So, Bill, we are headed to 30 minutes of this. Let's have your closing remarks.
Yeah, so my closing thoughts are this is, again, I don't think this is ending anytime soon. Neither of us think that this is going to be shortened by any use of weaponry or any use of political resolve. There's really nothing that's going to stop this from being a potentially very long term situation. So pay attention, participate where you can participate with your local officials, making your voice heard. Even posting on social media is a great way to communicate and find people that share your ideas or have opposing views, right? There's many ways to spin this story, and not everyone's news can be authentic or credible. So keep an open mind and open ears when you're trying to decipher what's going on in here. But wrong from right is it's wrong to kill, and it's wrong to invade somebody's culture and try to change everything, you know, um, especially if you know that perhaps you don't even know everything about them, right? So this is an important time for people to actually learn from what's going on because it will impact your life as well as your kids' lives, um, not only here but abroad. So, yeah, we pray for those people that are affected all over the Middle East as well as elsewhere. And we've come to share our insights so that you can stay informed and keep up with us.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I agree with you. The people who are going to inherit the debt of this war is the future generation.
Yeah.
Now, it is our responsibility to manage what the future generation inherits from us. I don't want to leave my kids with a debt that I could have paid when I lived and when I worked. You know, I want to pay my debt off so that my children can be free of debt.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't want them to inherit a debt that I could have paid off. And this is what we are saying, even for this war. The inheritors will be the future generations. They're gonna inherit a debt that they don't understand how it was incurred.
Yep.
Because because of this war, and as soon as sense and perhaps goodwill prevails, and everybody comes to their own senses, and we strike a deal, the better. That is what we are for. And viewers, I think we'll end this show here. I hope you enjoyed our analysis. I enjoyed the insights of my son. He's solid, a gentle human soul,
Yeah.
with full of insights, ideas and stuff like that. And I like that about him. So that's why I brought him to the show again today. Hopefully you enjoyed our video, and you'll continue subscribing, share, comment, and tell us what else that we missed that can be included to make this show a more success. With those few remarks, we end this show right here.
All right. Thank you, Dad.